All right, welcome back to Kim Talks. I'm your host, Kim Hayden, and I am super excited that you are choosing to share your most valuable resource with me and my guest today, your time. So, speaking of guests, you know that our goal here at the Kim Talks Resilience is to find women with amazing stories that inspire and can help you move your life forward in the direction that you're looking to improve or grow or just, you know what? Live your best life possible because this is important. We don't have a lot of time, so let's invest it wisely. So today's guest, Laura Browne. Super excited. We're going to learn lots today. Laura Browne is a corporate trainer, author, speaker, and a certified business coach with more than 20 years of experience in global human resources and management development. She has trained and coached female leaders from Fortune 100 companies. She has written for Forbes and has been quoted as a business expert in major publications, including Cosmopolitan, Family Circle Magazine, and USA Weekend. Laura is the author of, holy crow, 10 books, including Increase Your Income, which we all want to do with inflation and such, 7 Rules for Women Who Want to Make More Money at Work, and a salary Cinderella story, or how to make more money without a fairy godmother. She now helps women to make more money by being confident and get heard online training programs at her company, Career Tips for Women. And welcome, Laura.
Hey, Kim. So nice to be here.
I am excited. I'm excited because I think today and moving forward, everybody wants to make more money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why shouldn't we?
Awesome. So, where I'd like to start is just diving right in, to that a little bit of that origin story. So we start peeling back some of the layers here, because I find our origin story a lot of times is starts kind of creating that pre-frame for why you're doing what you're doing. So can you share with us a little bit? Like, I love to know where people are, right? Because you're not in my mother's basement, I'm pretty sure, because that's where I am. So tell us where you are, where you're from, and a little bit of your origin story.
Well, I am in Phoenix, Arizona, and I think it's over 100 degrees today. So I am loving it. No, I love the heat because I grew up in New York, loved it, spent years in California, but I decided I want to be where the sun shines all the time. So I'm in Phoenix. So what brought me here? So it was years and years ago, and I was working in human resources, and I remember thinking I want to make more money. And so I was all prepared. And let me just tell you, this is before you could Google this stuff. Okay. But I had my stuff all together. And I remember talking to my boss at the time. We went into the conference room and I started saying I wanted more money. And he shut me down immediately. I mean, he said no so fast. And I don't remember the rest of the meeting. I just remember being so upset and so embarrassed because I just thought, oh my gosh, he basically told me that I'm terrible and I maybe I shouldn't go back to work. Now, he didn't say any of those things. He just said no. And so that night I talked to a friend of mine. And again, I was feeling really bad for myself. And I don't know that I can go back to work and all this other stuff. And she said, well, what did he say? And, she said, no, why did he say you weren't going to get a raise? I said, well, I don't know. He didn't tell me. So she said, well, you've got to go back and ask. So I'm getting chills just thinking about it because it was so hard for me to ask. So the next day I went back and I asked, and he is a nice guy. I'm still in contact with him. And he said, oh, well, obviously you're not going to get raised until it's raise time. And that was the first time I realized, yes, my company had raise time. And it wasn't until like 3 months. And he said, oh, in 3 months, you'll get a fine raise. Now, what I did do then was smart. I said, well, can you tell me what I need to do to get the best raise possible? And he said, oh, you're fine. I said, no, I want the best raise possible. So we talked about it. And in 3 months, I did get a great raise. But that sort of started me on the whole journey, like realizing, wait a minute, what do I need to do? And how do I need to ask? And I started telling my friends about this and other people. And I started thinking, I need to understand this more. Yeah. So that was a huge step for me.
So when we go to origin story, can you share with me a little bit of like your childhood? Why is money important to you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, my childhood. Well, and it's funny because, when I was little, I didn't really think that much money wasn't that important to me. Honestly, when I was a little kid, I was in New York. We had, I had a nice home. I had a good family. I got an allowance. And then when I was 16, basically my mom said, okay, what are you going to do now? And so I went out and I got my my first job working in a veterinary clinic as a receptionist. And I will tell you what, that made me decide I was never going to be a vet because no, no, no. And I mean, and the vet was wonderful. He was the nicest guy. And I remember asking him, how'd you decide what you want to do? He said, I love animals. I said, but sometimes, it's not, there aren't good days. And he said, yeah, but he said, but I have the chance to make a difference in animals and people's lives. And I thought, wow. And I remember getting those first checks, which I don't even remember how much I was making, but those first checks were not much, but they were like gold to me because I was 16 and I had all this money in my new little bank account. So ever since then, I was like, I can make money. This is really fun. Yeah. So that first job was such a difference to me.
Awesome. And you know what? I think that every parent should ensure their child has a job at 16.
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
Even if it's only 3-4 hours a week,
Mhm.
you start looking and you see the money and you go, oh, that I had to work X amount of time
Yeah.
to be able to buy this. And
Yeah.
it starts putting a real understanding as to what things cost and what the value is in it. So before we jump into what you do, because I know everybody's now interested because we are talking about money.
Yeah.
I want everybody to go over to www.queenofresilience.shop and spend some of that money. We got some sassy, fun stuff, sass class, have some fun in there, but just put your queen hustle on, straighten your crown, shop around. And that's queenofresilience.shop. You like that segue? That was good, eh, Laura? That was good.
Great. That was really great.
So now we're going to go into what you do. Share with me, why are you here today?
I'm here because I don't want just me to make more money. I want everybody to make more money because I was in human resources for years and years and years. So I know what goes on behind the scenes. And I know that there are plenty of people in companies that make more money than others. And it's really annoying because I would see these people that were really loyal and really good at their jobs. And many of them were women. Now, not all women, but many of them were women, and they wouldn't ask. And so the people that got the raises were, first of all, the ones that asked, okay, and the ones that made it clear, and also the ones that the company was worried about losing. And so I hate to say this, but a lot of times when you have these really, really loyal, especially female employees that say, I will stay here, when the boss thinks about how do I spend my extra money, it's not to those people because they're not worried about them. If you have basically told your boss, I am here for forever and I love my job, then you're not going to get the extra money. And so basically, I want to help women to understand just a couple of small things that they can do because talking about money is so uncomfortable. I mean, I don't know about you, but basically, I was taught that nice girls don't talk about money. Okay, you're laughing. So nice girls don't talk about money, and we certainly don't ask for a raise. I mean, gosh, just we should be lucky that our companies are giving us money. Yeah, that's not true. We work. We are valuable and we deserve to make money. And a lot of times we deserve to make more money than we make now, but we don't mention it. And so nobody is there. Nobody is going to hand you money. Nobody's going to toss you money if you don't. So I'll give you an example. So I was working with somebody and she went to get a new job. And so and I was telling her how she should negotiate. And basically, I said, okay, when you get the offer, thank them and tell them what a great job, that you're the right person and reinforce that. And then pause and say, is there any flexibility? And then stop talking. Don't say, but I'll still take the job anyway. It's okay. So she said, I don't know that's going to work. And I said, give it a shot anyway. So she said, is there any flexibility? And the woman immediately said, oh, yeah, there is. And then they went on. She got a 15% salary increase, 15%. And when she told me later on, she was mad. She said, well, if I hadn't asked, why didn't you just offer me more money? And I'm going to tell you right now, HR and interview people, and I just saw this on a post on LinkedIn, that it's not their job to tell you you're not making enough money. It's not their job to say, I could get you an extra $10,000. It's your job. So you're the one that has to ask.
That is, it's really interesting that you're saying that because I just recently saw Lonnie Love, who is from The Real and all those TV shows. I think she's a comedian. She very, very good talk. Actually, I was in Phoenix and I saw her in Phoenix 3 weeks ago. She had a quote that will stick with me for the rest of my life. A closed mouth never gets fed.
Oh, I like that.
I'm
Yeah,
sitting there going,
that's true.
that
Mhm.
is so good. And that is exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, it is.
So, so everybody, before we jump into why, and I want to actually pull this back into more of the what. So I want to
Mhm.
dive a little bit kind of into your journey because so we have 20 years of experience here that we're going to unpack a little bit.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that, folks, everybody out there right now, like, subscribe, comment, share, like, subscribe, comment, share, because you know what? Without that, it's hard to bring all of this amazing information to you.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
just that's all I ask, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you hate it, do it even more. Share it out more. Get rid of me. Get rid of me. Put those comments in there. But okay, so 20 years of experience. You've
Mhm.
decided to go into this coaching process. We're going to be diving a little bit into the why, but I want to create the foundation so people know
Mhm. Go.
your value that you bring. So you have 20 years experience and 10 books. Walk
Mhm.
me through a little bit about this path for you because we know that we're seeing the great resignation with women over 40
Oh, yeah.
and coming from corporate and moving into entrepreneurial is really scary for a lot of people and you don't know which way. There's no instructions that come with this. You have to find a leader to follow, which is
Mhm.
somebody like yourself. So share with us a little bit of your journey discovering the path.
Well, so this is really interesting that you say that because I was purely a corporate person. I mean, I just, corporate, I just figured I would, live my life in corporate. Well, life doesn't always go the way you expect. So I was working at a small company. I'm not going to say the company name because of what happened. I was working at a small company and I wasn't really happy. And I was working from home then, which was kind of unusual. And I was sick that I was really sick. And so I finally got up and I checked my voicemail message and I had been laid off by voicemail from this company. Yeah, they had a they and I in retrospect, I should have known things weren't going that well, but I thought, "Oh, it won't happen to me." And yeah, and so I was part of the layoff. And so, I mean, I was the sole provider for my family. I had a little kid, I had a mortgage. I mean, I did not have a choice. And so basically, I looked for another job, and the quickest way for me to get another job was to be a contractor at a company. And suddenly I was like, I'm a contractor and I only work for a certain number of hours and I can do other stuff on the side. I was like, I love this. And so I started looking for other gigs. And so I was an entrepreneur for years and years and years. And I did training and I did coaching and I did all sorts of things. And it was really, really fun. And then I decided, you know what? Maybe corporate life is good. And I dipped my toe back in the corporate life again. And I realized it was okay. And it's good for a while, depending on your boss. But what I learned from that whole experience, because now I'm back an entrepreneur, what I learned from that whole experience is you are responsible for your career. Because again, early in my career, I thought my boss will take care of me. And some bosses did, true. My boss will take care of me. But first of all, number one, your boss is really, really busy, especially today. Your boss may have 10 other people they're responsible for, a whole bunch of other projects. And let me tell you what, your boss is really worried about their job and they're not as worried about you. And sometimes they don't even remember what you do. So I just, when I got laid off, I was like, man, I am the only person that is responsible for my career choice and my career success. And that brings me to sort of today when I tell women, don't wait for your boss to, hand you the wonderful money and the raise and the 3% increase or whatever it is. You need to work with your boss and you need to make it clear and you need to be the CEO of your career rather than just sit back and wait for your company to do something nice because sometimes they will and sometimes they won't and sometimes you could get laid off, and sometimes you'll get a big old bonus, but don't leave it to chance. As you said, open your mouth. If you don't open your mouth, things are not going to happen for you.
You know what? And you brought up a really interesting. It's funny because so I am in my mother's basement, as I mentioned. I drove 24 hours from Wichita or from Calgary, Alberta to Wichita, Kansas, and in that time, I decided to pull out Bob Berg, Go Giver, Influencer book,
Yes, I love that.
and listen to it again. And what you're
Mhm.
talking about is really fascinating because so many times we're caught within the cycle or the silo of our own life that we don't stop and think what's going on the other side of this conversation. And that's what I really like about that Bob Burke book called The Go-Giver, Go-Giver Influencer, because it talks about the dichotomy of the two people who are in conversation and all the different things that are going on in both worlds. And by opening your mouth and having conversation and having some transparency, right? As to not only what you want, but why you want, and then trying to find that. I think that's really, I think the art of conversation, I think there's a whole coaching course there because, oh my God, the art of conversation. And I think the last 2 years has really been challenging because I think we've lost a lot of that. Soft skills and conversation is my jam.
Oh.
You want a CRM? You are so in trouble. Ain't gonna happen. Bounce that checkbook, ain't gonna happen. But if you want to find out what makes other people tick, I'm your gal. And I love that. So somebody may be really good at one, they may be really good at that CRM, and they've got to pull themselves out of the silo effect that we all get into and start putting on, okay, this is what I want. What do they want?
Yes. Yeah, but you're so right, because we don't think about it. Or if we think about it, we make stuff up. And a lot of times, because of the way our brains are wired, because I think brain size is interesting, we think the worst.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So immediately it goes to the worst, and there's a reason for that. Our brains are trying to protect us. So Lord, don't ask, don't put your head up. It's okay.
Well, that's like you when you went and you wanted to get a raise.
Yes.
And they said no. You assumed the worst.
Oh, I assumed the worst. My job, I'm terrible. My boss hates me, all those things. So even before we do that, and we assume, if we think about the other person, we assume the worst, and we tell all these stories, and we convince ourselves of it. See, I know I can't get a raise, or I know I can't do this, or I know I can't get that project. And unless you talk, like you just said, unless you open up the conversation, you have no idea what's true.
Yep. And this is my personal belief, and I know my hair is pink. I do look at the entire world through rose-tinted glasses. I do believe that 95% of human beings out there are doing the best they can.
Yes.
And there's no malicious intent.
Yes.
So the only thing you're afraid of is the things that are unknown.
Yeah.
So do open your mouth and ask. And obviously this is part of your why. So over these 20 years, you start building this. So we know what the cookie cutter, the bio said, you want to help more women make more money.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you want to help more women make more money?
So again, I can say, because altruistic, I want to help all people. And that is true. However, there's another reason. So I had a daughter who, by the way, is a redhead. And so I remember, let's just say she's past college. I'm not going to say her age right now. But I remember looking at her when she was little thinking, I don't want you, honey, to go through the same nonsense that I am going through at work, the same struggles that I am going through. And I thought, by the time you get to job after college, I want this to have disappeared. I mean, I've been talking about this stuff for years and years. And so my biggest hope was my daughter wouldn't face the same sort of things with pay and other things that I would. Well, that hasn't happened yet, but I'm still pushing so that, in years to come, I won't have to talk about this anymore. I don't want to keep talking about it. I want women to be able to do this. I want it not to be an issue, but it still is. So that's what keeps me going.
Absolutely. And I have a daughter also. And I will tell you, my oldest is 33. So
that's not possible.
I'm from Kansas. We start at 12.
Okay. I was going to guess that. Okay, that makes sense now.
Okay, wait a minute. Do not nobody call social services. No, I did not start at 12. Okay. I was of legal age, and I am much older than I look. So thank you. I'll take that.
Okay.
And it's probably just it's probably the wearing hot pink Vans, and I have pink hair. So
no, it's also the big smile and stuff and the energy that really adds to it.
Absolutely. And you know what? You got two choices in life. You can either smile and make things happen, or you can just get out of my space. Those are your two choices.
So it's so funny. So I was actually giving a presentation on how to be happier at work today. I didn't think about that as a choice, but I talked about you have choices. You can be happy or you can choose to not be happy.
The
And
very
I'm
first
going
thing,
to use that
smile.
later on.
The
Mhm.
very first thing, smile. Always
Yes.
smile. Smiling, it changes the muscle memory of the face.
Yep.
It and it affects your psychology. And you know what? It is one of these empowering, amazing gifts. If you're walking down the street smiling and you smile at somebody and they smile back at you,
Yeah.
this is awesome. This
And
is
you've
awesome.
made a difference. In that 1 second, you made a difference. You have no idea how bad that person today was or how good it was, but you just made them smile. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's my mission in life. So let's jump in. So I hope everybody out there is getting a really good feel around here of everything that Laura has to offer and everything she has accomplished, and know that her having a child that you are striving to make the world a better place for, you truly do put your heart into what you're
Mhm.
doing.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk books. You have
Mhm.
10 books. I always ask a book somebody that would recommend. I've already mentioned Bob Berg's The Deal
Mhm.
Giver Influencer, so we don't have to cover anybody
Yeah.
else's book. We've already done that. Let's
Oh, but
talk
I do
your
have a
book.
book. Wait, I
Okay,
want to
cool.
suggest somebody else's book because I was actually just talking about it this morning. It's called The Happiness Advantage by Sean Acor.
Ooh,
And I love it. I love his stuff because it's all based on research. And honestly, I think that to me, like part of the fact I'm doing helping people with money is that helps them be happier. But he's got some really good specific things. So I highly recommend that one.
awesome. I'm betting you that's Audible too, because I think all of
Oh, I'm
Sean's
sure it
stuff
is.
is on
Yeah.
Audible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
He's
I
amazing.
listen to everything. So share with us. Let's walk me through your 10 books and
Oh, well,
where we can find those.
a couple of them are little kids books, so I don't need to go through those. But I did write a tween book that I was hoping to be the next Harry Potter book, called Annie Clark and the Pearls of Wisdom. It didn't turn out to be the next Harry Potter book, but what it did turn out to be, it was a semifinalist in an Amazon Breakthrough Novel Award competition a number of years ago. So that was a
Oh,
huge,
that's
yeah,
very cool. And I
that
love
was a
that
huge win for
title,
me.
Pearls of Wisdom, because it
Yes,
reminds
it
me
was.
of conversations with my mom.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, so it was Pearls of Wisdom. In addition, I've also written a book called, Why Can't You Communicate Like Me? How Smart Women Get Results at Work, all about communicating. So it's about 4 basic communication styles, and once you speak in somebody else's language, then they're more likely to hear you because you're speaking in their language. I've got the Salary Cinderella story, which is a fun way to take a look at how to get a raise at work. So basically, my co-author and I took the 7 rules of how to get a raise and said, let's make a fun story about it. Let's talk about somebody, the main character is unhappy at work and sort of unhappy with her boyfriend. And she meets a mentor on a plane who's like her fairy godmother who teaches her these things. And then we did that. And then we wrote the single Cinderella story. So a book about dating also. So I like to write books about all different areas.
Okay, so wait a minute. Go into the single Cinderella
Yeah,
story.
a single Cinderella story or how to find love without losing yourself. So
Ooh.
yeah, so it's basically all about she basically meets 3 different guys that she dates, but it's not about the guys. It's about feeling like you love yourself first and understanding you first, and then understanding what's important to you and what's not important to you, and having really good authentic conversations with the other person.
Okay, Laura, this is one that we're going to have to unpack a little further, just so you know. Not that I'm saying I'm been married. I will be married until my husband checks out. But I have several girlfriends
Mhm.
and I think a lot of people get scared, especially women over 40, because they sit there and go, "Oh, I messed up so bad
Yeah.
before,"
Yep.
right? And
Mhm.
sometimes it's a matter of unpacking. It wasn't when you got married, it was not a mistake. It is that you have shifted and changed,
Yes.
or yes. And
Yes.
it is okay when we look at relationships as a reason, a season, and a lifetime,
Oh,
right?
that's good. I hadn't heard that one before. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So reason I believe I'm in a lifetime relationship with my husband. we've been married 27 years. But the reality is, if anything were to happen and I ended up by myself, I probably would want to go into another relationship.
Why
So
not?
then that relationship is no longer a lifetime. It's now a season,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And I think we should really look at ourselves as opportunities to grow,
Mhm.
right? And
Yes.
give ourselves that grace that we all go through all these different seasons that allow us to become these amazing beings if
Mhm.
only we nurture those
Yes.
seasons.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I would love to have you back on, literally. And maybe what we could do is do like a panel of three, bring on like three of us, and we could just
Yes.
discuss everything we think is wrong with the dating world and how we can be better at loving ourselves so that
Mhm.
when we love ourselves, guess what?
Yes.
We find people who love us.
Well, and I would love to do that because I was married for 25 years and I am no longer married and I am dating and I've had some wonderful relationships and I've had some ones that didn't go so well. And so some of those stories are in the book as well as some of my friends' stories.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's make a plan right now, and let's do it. Do you drink wine? I apologize if everybody out there is sober. I apologize. I do drink wine, but maybe we could do this in an evening over a
Oh,
hot
I love that.
tea.
I might drink beer. I don't
Okay,
normally drink wine.
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Let's do a cocktails and Cinderella night. I would, I
Yes.
would love to do that. And okay, awesome. I'm super,
Okay.
super,
All
super
right.
excited.
You and I will do that. I think that
Awesome.
that would be really,
And
really
we'll bring
fun.
on a third. I think we should get a couple guinea pigs.
Oh, okay. Well, I also do have my co-author, and I
Oh,
will tell you
perfect.
then that in order to one of the things I did is I took up pole dancing, and I talk about it you see, I knew that would make you laugh. I took up pole dancing, and I talk about that in the book because I just thought it would be really, really fun.
Well, you're far more coordinated than I am because I trip over my own feet. So
I'm not saying I was good at it. I just thought, you know what? I want to do something new, and that was something new and different that a friend of mine suggested. So I did it.
awesome. Was that the Demi Moore course?
No, no, no. I
Oh,
actually. Oh, no.
sorry. I
That's
did. That
okay.
was my outside voice. Please, nobody sue me.
Oh!
Okay.
You're so funny.
Okay. So I want to quickly, before we jump into your quote of inspiration and where everybody can find you, I'd like for you to share with me a time of resilience that you would not be sitting in that blue chair with the microphone if you had not had resilience. And you can go all the way back to when you were 5 years old and got back on the bike.
No, actually, I was gonna use something else, but I'm gonna use something different. I after 25 years, I got divorced, and I remember sitting on my bathroom floor with the door closed, sobbing because I didn't want my daughter to hear how sad I was, and I just thought, I can't believe that this ended. I mean, I can't tell you how awful it was. But I had to wipe off the tears and I had to get myself up and I had to get her to school the next day and step by step and I pulled it back together. But it wasn't easy. And so whatever people are going through, I know that there are really, really bad times and there are times that you think, I can't possibly go through to tomorrow. I can't take this. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't have money. I was divorced, all this other stuff. I don't know how I can do it. But I was able to. And part of it was I had to do it for my daughter. I mean, I had to get her to school, and she was also, I mean, obviously, she was very upset about it too. But every day got a little bit easier and a little bit easier, and so it was just taking that one step in front of the other that got me to where I am today.
Did you have somebody that you could lean into?
Oh, I have the most wonderful family in the whole world. I have a wonderful Italian family, that I just yes, so I could call them. I also had some of the best I'm still friends with some of my friends from high school. So I could call my friends. I also went into counseling. Let me be realistic about that. So absolutely, there were people that I could turn to. Though when you feel like you've lost everything, it's so hard to reach out to other people. And people reached out to me, "How are you doing? How are you doing?" And I did reach back out to them, but there's that feeling like I don't want to burden anybody. I don't want to help, I don't want to tell anybody. But yes, that doing that made a huge difference, talking to other people and letting them help me through it and hold my hand.
Absolutely. And, sometimes being vulnerable and saying, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I'm not alone. I don't have to be alone. Again, a closed mouth never gets fed. And sometimes you just need to speak up and reach out and engage. And I
Mhm.
love the fact that you're open enough to share because a lot of people and you don't sound bitter.
Oh,
That's the
no, I'm
beauty.
not bitter. No,
Right? And
no.
that's the thing is that understanding a reason, a season, and a lifetime and embracing it and saying, okay, how do I make this work forward? Because it's not working now.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that is a true mindset in anything, business,
Mhm.
life, raising children, uh losing 50 pounds or
Mhm.
you know even just sometimes getting the garbage out to the curb when you don't feel like going outside, especially in a snow trip, because I don't happen to live in Phoenix. So
That is true. Yeah, that's not something I normally worry about too much.
exactly. So, quote, I love
Yeah.
hearing quotes and why they inspire.
Mhm.
Share
Yeah.
with me your North Star quote.
So, my favorite quote is from Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's "Do one thing every day that scares you." And I always try to think, what do I not wanna do today? What's frightening? Sort of like, I don't know, being on a podcast or something, might be a little, like, out of your comfort zone. So, because if you just stay in your comfort zone, you're not gonna change, you're not gonna grow. So I'm always trying to push and do new things. So that's my favorite quote.
Do one thing. Okay. That's awesome. I I absolutely agree with that. Growing pains means you're growing.
Yes. Yes.
And so being uncomfortable, I personally love, maybe not at the exact moment, but I love being in a room of women who intimidate me just a little bit.
Just a
And
little bit.
just a little bit, because it
Yeah.
means I'm not the smartest. There's something I can learn, and my time is being well served.
Yeah, that's
And,
exactly right.
it's always that pushing, that growing, and that's why part of the reason I do this, I don't have 10 books. I don't have, all these things. Here's the reality. I get very intimidated when I, meet with women who have PhDs and have higher education because
Yep.
I'm I'm a GED from Wichita, Kansas, hairdresser, and I
Good
sit
for
here,
you.
yeah, and I sit here and it's funny because it is always so like engaging with amazing women like yourself how helps me move past those self we're the harshness that we serve ourselves, right?
Yeah,
And here's the reality: in today's world, nobody cares.
that's
Nobody
true. That
cares.
is absolutely true.
It's
Yep.
like, what are you doing? What are you
Mhm.
doing?
Yeah.
So, you know what? Laura, this is awesome. Can you share with us where we can find you so everybody can hunt you down? And if you have any kind of gift
Yeah.
or promotion or
Yeah.
anything like that, please share it now.
Oh, I would love to. So if you go to careertipsforwomen.com, there's information. You can find my book there, but also you can find my books on Amazon. But if you go to careertipsforwomen.com and you use the coupon code Kim, you can get 20% off my online classes. And also there's a free video there that goes through how to get a raise at work, because we didn't really talk about that, but it actually goes through the 7 different steps. So go ahead and take a look at the free video and find out more information.
Amazing, amazing. Laura's got you covered. In today's world, we are going through inflation. Prices are not going to come down. You're still going to have to buy your groceries. The statistically, based on our current rate of inflation, if you made an average income of between $60 and $80,000, you need to be generating another $400 to $600 a month right now in order to afford the same basket of groceries. So,
Wow.
do yourself a favor, folks, hook up with Laura, find out what you can do so next time you have an opportunity that you don't even see or know that's there, you seize the opportunity to get the money you're worth. Is that right, Laura?
That is right, and the one thing I would suggest is start early, because again, don't wait until it's raise time and your boss is sitting in front of you giving you a raise. It's too late. Human resources already agreed to it. Start 4 months early. So start today. Start now. Start thinking about it. Start asking. Maybe your boss is already thinking about giving you a raise. So give them the question and help them to start working on it so you can make more money.
Give them permission to treat you right.
Yes, I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, Laura, thank you so much for joining me today. And we are definitely going to do this today again. Like I can tell that we could talk for hours.
Oh, thank you, Kim. This has been so much fun. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Be sure you guys all look out for Laura. Do connect with her. And the next time you feel that your resiliency is lagging, be sure to listen and lean in to the resilient community. You know, you can join us totally free. My gift to you is at resilientgift.com for your free membership. And hey, if you have an amazing story that you'd like to share of resiliency, DM me at Resilient Series on almost every platform that's out there, or Kim Hayden. I'm easy to find. This is where we celebrate and showcase female founders, coaches, and entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and those who aspire to be any and all of the above. So until next time, thank you so much. I am your host, Kim Hayden, and this is another amazing episode of Kim Talks.